I'm joined here by three great men here, the backroom team of Aero. Gerry, I start off with yourself first there. A county final, big day. You're a man who's been involved in many big days with Clare and so on, but this is one with your club. It must be,
Yeah,
it must
but
be a great.
I think it's something special since we've a lot of players into their 30s now, and it's interesting to look at the spread of players that we have. We have some young guys who just are barely out of playing 16 and 17, and they're playing in a county final. And then we've got guys who've been striving to play in a county final for the last 16 years. But ultimately, I think what you'll find is that we have found a level of consistency this year in terms of our performance throughout the year. And what I mean by that is that if you look at when we played in semi-finals and quarter-finals for the last 2 years, we either played really well and won, or we played really poorly and obviously lost. But this year we've mixed good and bad performances within a game, and we've actually managed to pull out the stops when it really mattered. And I think that's the. If you look back at the Cooney game, we went 5 points down. We won and lost the game against the Bridge several times on Sunday, but we never actually gave up, and we actually kept performing to the level that we feel we can on a continual basis, and that's the difference. We've found a level of consistency, even though we haven't always been playing well in a game.
Yeah, absolutely. Gerry's talk about the consistency, but as well as that, the work rate is really important. Like the work rate that the team have produced, and especially last Sunday when it was most needed. I think that's what I really admire about this team is. It can be Shane O'Donnell going back in the half back line. It can be one of the lads coming up to help out, but really team effort, and not from just the big stars. Like everybody is as their shoulder to the wheel.
Well, if you don't have that, quite honestly, you're going nowhere. You know what I mean? I mean, the work rate is a kind of a basic, and if that's missing, you'll see it very quickly, and you won't be progressing. So, the work rate on Sunday was really good. But we kind of expected to be, the players demanded of themselves, and as I said, if that's not there, you're really up against it.
Yeah, and Barry, you're no stranger to big days and big occasions yourself. How do you think the players will react now over the next 10 days to the county final? It's a big ask, a big day against a big team.
It is a big ask, yeah, but a lot of them played county football final last year, so they'll be familiar with the process of the finals, and we have a lot of experience on that team. We have these lads who are on the road for a good few years. They played in county semi-finals, this or third in a row. So look, while it's a few of them, it's their first final, they'll be ready for it, and we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, Gerry, just to go back to you again, the Aina Kilmona game, you went out there, you just blizzed Aina Kilmona. And they were in the final last year, and they barely only beat Aina Kilmona by a point. Now it's not always you can't always go by that, but I mean, it must have given a great boost to going in against the Bridge.
It did, but I think by Aina Kilmona's own admission, they probably didn't get to the standard that they were at last year at any stage this year, and just having spoken to them after the game and spoken to some of their management since. But ultimately, I think, to allude to what Barry said, this team have been, we were very lucky we got the break for 3 weeks, both the hurling and the football, after the Cooney game. That allowed us to recharge the batteries, and lads just got back up to a level where we felt they should be at. Because we've been on we played one poor half of hurling. That was the first half against Kilmaley.
Yeah.
But we've been progressively improving since that. But that's what you'd be expecting. But the other point, to mirror what Barry is saying, these lads have taken great inspiration from the footballers over the last 12 months, and there's a certain amount of that these guys want to actually build on what they achieved last year on the football field. So there's whilst we're going into a final, it's not the first county final for a lot of these players because they've experienced it with the footballers.
That's true. That's true. The Kilmaley game, the first day, I suppose, at that first half in particular, as Gerry said, you just weren't at the races. But in hindsight, that was probably the kick up the backside, if you don't mind me saying, that probably a rogue needed.
No, it was, and the other thing about it is there were kind of valid reasons behind that as well. We're very lucky in Europe. We have large number of intercounty hurlers and intercounty footballers, and the reality is during the league campaign that we just don't have those guys here. So we didn't have them for very long. A lot of guys hadn't a lot of hurling done. So we got off to a slow start last year and built steadily from that. So like we were disappointed, but we didn't panic. And as Gerry said, things have got steadily better from here. They were starting from a bit of a low base, but it was important to kind of not to panic. I think was the important thing. We still felt that we kind of coming out of the group was still in our own hands to an extent. Now, as it turns out, that wasn't the case the way the results went. But we got through it, continued to progress, and I think the time together has really helped the panel kind of gel and be together.
Yeah, I suppose Barry, the footballers, you'll all be going down shouting for the footballers on Sunday. But at the back of your mind should be, God, I hope nobody gets injured. Well, you have the luxury now of not having that to contend with that. And they have footballers, but they're not in the championship anymore. So, it's a tough 2 weeks, like for players to mind themselves and not pick up an injury.
It is a tough 2 weeks, but as I always say, if you keep winning, it's a lot easier to get out of bed in the Monday morning. That you're a lot more fresh and more energised and ready. And in fairness to both sets of management, they've worked well together. And priority at these few weeks is about recovery and to ensure that we're right for the weekend, and that has been happening so far, and hopefully we get through the football on Sunday and that'll happen again.
Am I right in saying, Barry, you played in the last county final?
That's right,
yeah. I remember you played, yeah. You know what it's all about. You'll have to tell these young lads.
Well, yeah, unfortunately it didn't work out for us on the day, but I was 17 at the time. It was a great experience, but as I said, we didn't.
Sorry? Very bleach blonde hair at the time.
Paul Joe behind
It was all in there.
But so that's no predictions, I suppose, for me anyway.
No, hopefully we'll beat Corofin on Sunday.
And I suppose the two boys the same. Isn't that Simon Kildemona, man? But I really appreciate what you've done for hurling here in Clare, what you've done last Sunday. I really thoroughly enjoyed the game last Sunday, and I didn't enjoy the one the week before now when you beat Simon Kildemona, but it's great credit due to you. You've great lads to stick at it. Like, I mean, we turn up and we sit up on the stand. We don't know anything about the wet evenings like this evening where you're out there, you give of your time, you're away from your families, all that stuff. So it was great credit to you, like, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And you're supplying guys to the county team as well. So congratulations on that, and the best of luck to you in the county final.
Thanks
very much.
Appreciate that.